We'd rather sell it than move it in. The moving in sale is on now at the new Lloydminster Nissan. As we get ready to move into our beautiful new building on Highway 17 South, we're moving out our incredible inventory from the big blue building on Highway 16 West. Save today on our incredible lineup of new and pre-owned vehicles all under the roof. Get special clear-out pricing on all remaining 2023 models. We're getting ready to move in, so come out and see us today for fantastic savings on your new car, truck, or SUV. The moving in sale is on now at the new Lloydminster Nissan. We won't sell you a car, we'll help you buy one.
At Lloydminster and District Co-op, membership matters more. Because being part of a co-op means you're connected to something bigger than yourself. From long-held legacy by those who built our communities, to people you call family, friends, and neighbors. When you're a Lloyd Co-op member, you're an owner in a local business that prides itself on purpose alongside profit. You earn cash back, you help support causes that matter most, and you're building a better way of life for the next generation. Membership matters more.
Local people. Local news and events. Local sports. Local matters. For all things Lloydminster and area, this is Live with Kurt Price.
Hey, welcome to the Lloydminster Exhibition and the new Lloydminster Nissan Exhibition Grill. We remind you that right now at the new Lloydminster Nissan, you can get into remaining 2023 Rogues and Cash Guys for up to $2,000 below cost. It won't be long now. I was looking at the building yesterday from the outside, planning on taking a tour tomorrow, but it won't be long before we'll be moving into that gorgeous location on Highway 17 South. But we do have to blow out some inventory, so come see us today on Highway 16 West. Big blue building, used to be Border City RV. If you haven't been there yet, you're going to be really impressed when you walk in. It's been a great winter out there because we got over 100 vehicles inside, so it's been pretty easy living for our sales team through the winter. But come see us, and right now at the new Lloydminster Nissan, you get a $25 oil change when you switch your winter tires for summer tires. Shaun Newman is our guest today. He's going to be talking to us about the Cornerstone Forum that he's presenting on April 27th. And we'll get more to that in just a moment. BioClean Disaster Services is a local company that's restoration and cleaning is second to none. Wind, fire, flood, that can be disasters for your property and your belongings, but also very hard on your family. Well, BioClean Disaster Services, that's where their commitment goes to you and to your family. All products are safe for your family, but it's also about keeping you up to date on what's happening with that restoration project and getting your family dynamic back to where you were before the disaster. They're committed, certified, reliable, and what I love about BioClean Disaster Services and Jody and Sharon is that they are very, very local. Lloydminster, Wainwright, St. Paul, Bonnyville. You call BioClean Disaster Services at 1-833-246-8326. Well, Chase the Ace returns big time tonight with a big time draw here at the Lloydminster Exhibition. Stacey Cadso told us that they've got a special supper planned to kick things off tonight.
The one thing I will say is this coming Wednesday when we do our Chase the Ace, we're going to put on a steak dinner, or steak sandwich dinner. $20 between 5:30 and 7. You can come down, get a steak dinner, and watch the Chase the Ace draw.
The very first one?
The very first one, next Wednesday.
Buy tickets for that,
Nope.
or just come down?
Just come down.
So tickets, once again, just $10 each, 3 for $25, 8 for $50, or 20 for $100. Subscriptions are available. Go to lloydx.com and get all the details. And the first jackpot is already over $26,000. Of course, they've seeded it at $25,000 again this year. With 100 days left to go before the Saskatchewan Summer Games, the City of Lloydminster invites you to take part in a fun event that they've teamed up with the Sask Summer Games Committee to hold at the Lloydminster Public Library in the mall this Saturday. Wendy Plandowski, Jason Whiting told us yesterday it's a great place to go for some fun with the kids, but also a great place to get some information on signing up to volunteer.
to 6:30, but we're going to have some actual speeches at 5 o'clock. So the mayor's going to give some greetings. We're going to do our little bit of our legacy announcement so that the community understands where this incredible investment is going across the community. So, if somebody wants to pop in anytime between then, but if you want to hear, that announcement, then you could come at 5.
Okay.
Yeah, a great opportunity to come in and if you want to sign up and just need a little bit of assistance, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. So come on down and get the bonus of hearing a few exciting things that have happened with their legacy projects.
Yeah, and I think, bring your kids. They can have a chance to meet Ravi and Tansy, who are our really cool mascots. And
just hang out in the library too.
It's another busy weekend here at the Lloydminster Exhibition as they host Everything Equine on the Border. That starts Friday morning, 9 a.m. when the trade show opens, and Everything Equine is 3 full days of clinics, trade shows, kids zone, and a whole lot more. Dallas Eckett is the chair of Everything Equine, and he told us that Saturday here at the Lloydminster Exhibition, well, that's going to be a very, very busy day.
8 o'clock, Jeff Horse Cow Horse Clinic starts again. Trade show opens at 9:30. Trainers Challenge will start again. 1 o'clock fashion show. And then right after the fashion show, we've actually got an equine Pilates demonstration. Yeah, they specialize that for equine, for riders and such, specialized. So that's going to be pretty cool. Saturday afternoon, again, Jill Barron's clinic, we switch over to jumping in the afternoon from Cow Horse. Be the 4th go-around then of Trainers Challenge. And Saturday evening, we have, last year we had a banquet. We're not doing a banquet this year. Saturday we're having our VIP get-together, and we're making extra tickets available for that one to listen to one of our trainers, Extreme Wileen, from down in the States, who has done the Mustang makeover. And she's going to come up and she's going to give a presentation during our VIP night. So if you want, you can get an extra ticket for that.
Weekend passes are just $40, day tickets $15, and you get VIP packages that Dallas mentioned as well for that VIP supper on Saturday night. Lloydminster Legion is once again holding a She Shed raffle, and that's going to culminate on Canada Day with the big draw. Tickets leading up to Canada Day can be purchased for just $10 each. They're available from any Legion member, from Cliff Rose for Clothes or Midway Towing. The first prize this year, once again, the She Shed. Second prize is Garden Swing, and that's maybe even more popular than the shed. It's so nice. And the third prize is a picnic table. Center Stage Studios presents Frozen for 4 shows at the Vic Juba Theatre this weekend. It starts Friday night. Go to vicjubatheatre.ca for tickets, and I think there's only tickets now for Saturday night. I think that's down to the last show. Avery Roberts told us what it's been like to get ready for the show.
Well, it's a bit of a process because you almost have to go through your entire script and go through like line by line, what is my character feeling? And sometimes you have to like play around with that and decide what they are feeling, because you get like a line that's just kind of there. So you have to realize like, okay, are they sad? Are they upset? Are they angry? Like you go through and you say the line each way as if you're sad, upset, angry, whatever. And then you just kind of choose what feels right. And it sometimes changes, like once I started working with Alize, I'm like, okay, no, now I need to say these things differently, because the way that Alize is coming towards me as Anna, I'm like, no, Elsa wouldn't react the way that I've been practicing. Elsa would react this way. So it's hard because you have to do it yourself, but you also have to mirror what the other people are doing, because you can't just be your own thing. You have to work as a team.
Looking forward to that performance. My niece is in that, so we're heading out on Saturday night. There's over 85 kids in that production. Go to clunkerdunker.com to pick a time when you think that clunker will finally fall through the ice. Now, last year it fell through on April the 15th, and it they've been posting pictures, and it sure looks like one of those tires is almost through the ice right now. But you can see it when you drive through Kid Scotty there. It's all rigged up to send a signal when it does fall through the ice, and it has been a beautiful week and another gorgeous day today. All proceeds support the new Kid Scotty Sports and Events Center, and last I checked here, just a couple minutes ago, it's like $160 to get over the $10,000 mark, so it is really up there right now. Superior Water is proud to provide you with the purest drinking water possible, and I drink Superior Water because I like the taste. I believe it is superior to anyone else's water. I think it's the best water in Lloydminster, and at just $3 a jug, you get a great consistent taste. And don't forget, ice for the Crown Royal, just $2 a bag. 2 locations in Lloydminster. Visit them beside Sheepskin Loft on 57th Avenue, and you can also see their coin-operated location right over by 7-Eleven on Highway 17 South. It's Superior Water. Water treatment is what they do, and they do it well. We'll take a break, and when we come back, Shaun Newman is going to tell us about the Cornerstone Forum on April 27th.
I'm Brian Zinchuk of PipelineOnline.ca. I used to be a pipeliner, and I've spent the last 15 years reporting on energy in Saskatchewan. PipelineOnline.ca provides comprehensive coverage of light oil, heavy oil, lithium, helium, power production, including coal, wind, solar, geothermal, natural gas, and nuclear. There's a lot happening in Saskatchewan's energy sector, and Pipeline Online is there for all of it. No one else comes even close.
It's more than just taxes at LNA CPA. Assurance, accounting, retirement planning, estate planning, business consulting, financial consulting, farm program support, and bookkeeping. But yes, there is always taxes. The team at LNA CPA is committed to helping you achieve your best results and will be there to assist you every step of the way. LNA CPA, with offices in Provost, Vermilion, and Lloydminster.
At Jason Arden Associates Cooperators, we're proud to be a top-rated local insurance company that offers flexible solutions and expert advice for all your insurance and investment needs. We'll work with you to tailor your insurance specific to your needs, and we offer investment advice that always puts you first. At Cooperators, one of our core values is to give back to the communities that we live in. Thanks to the support of our clients in Lloydminster and area, in 2023, Jason Arden Associates has donated $40,000 to local nonprofits, charities, students, athletes, and other special events. How does your insurance company support our community?
How can you help support the oil and gas industry and jobs in Western Canada? The answer is closer than you think. Sell your scrap metals to PWM Steel. PWM sells scrap iron to Evraz, located in Regina. Evraz's #1 customer is the energy sector, building pipes and plates for the oil and gas industry. PWM Steel is your locally owned metal recycler and steel service center in the area. Plus, they're a strong supporter of the community. PWM Steel, your top steel supplier for Alberta and Saskatchewan for 40 years.
At Diamond 7 Meats, we work with local farm families to provide a high-quality product and a great selection for you. Try our mouth-watering smokies, pulled pork, roast beef, and more, made pure and natural with no additives or fillers. We offer custom processing, and our experienced team works for you to provide a selection of sausage, burgers, and jerkies made to your specifications. Take your grilling to the next level with a Yoder smoker. Complete the grilling experience with Canadian-made, award-winning line of House of Q barbecue sauces. We're locally owned and operated, and we look forward to seeing you today.
Welcome back. Modern living for those 55 and over has finally come to Lloydminster. Where was this years ago? This is for those 55 and older, and those individuals who are looking for something in between what they have now, which is a big house to take care of, worried about appliances, worried about shingles, worried about flooring, snow removal, worried about cutting grass, worried about going up and down stairs. But you're not ready to take that step where you're into a senior facility. You want to live independently, and that's what Wellings of Lloydminster is all about. Gorgeous villas with very high ceilings, gorgeous windows to let in lots of sunlight sunlight, room to have guests over. You can have a pet. There's garages with the 2 bedrooms. They're located over by the 7-Eleven in Petro Canada. And if you haven't taken a tour yet, you should just call Darlene and set up a time to go in and take a tour. I would not be surprised if you called Darlene and she said, come over today. 780-872-8537. She'll walk you through it and she'll take you through their leasing. And I know there's a lot of people, I ran into a couple earlier who said to me, well, you know, like, we're starting to worry about our health. We think this is the perfect thing for us. And what about the lease? Like, if you're worried about your health, do you really want to sign a long-term lease? You talk to Darlene about that. You're going to love what she has to say. That's Wellings of Lloydminster. Well, we're back at the Lloydminster exhibition here in the new Lloydminster Nissan Exhibition Grill, and Shaun Newman is our guest, and Shaun has been hosting some forums, and I ran into him the other day. He had messaged me and said, hey, I want to come on and talk about this.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what these forums are about. So I ran into you and I said to you, what is this all about?
Before we go to that, I just want to, you're talking about this community living. Now, I ain't 55, but have you been by there to see those?
Yes, they're awesome.
The family, we took a little drive by them because we live in that vicinity, and like, you drive through them and they're pretty cool looking, I would say, right?
Yeah, they're very modern.
I still got a little ways to go before I'm 55, thankfully. Nothing wrong with 55-year-olds. I'm just, I don't have to worry about making that call.
Yeah, but I'm 51. I don't want to get to 52 anytime soon either.
But when you do get to 55, like, if you don't want the big house, you look at what they're building there, and I could be wrong, Kurt. You've been in town as long as I have, longer. I don't know of anything that looks like it.
No, this is the first time that I've seen anything like I said. It's finally come to Lloydminster, because I've had this in a lot of places otherwise.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the couple that I talked to, and I won't mention their names, but they were just like, like, it's getting harder and harder to shovel the driveway. It's getting harder and harder to go up and down the stairs, right? And the other thing I think that I didn't mention is there's no maintenance fees. There's no, like, it's all included. There's no taxes. It's included. So you're not trying to scramble once a year or work it into whatever. It's already there.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Darlene is from the East Coast. So when you go in there, you feel like you've known this lady forever. You know what I mean? Like, you just like.
I'll remember her name for the next time I go through, and I'm slow rolling, creeping with the family. I'm sure it looked pretty funny, but anyways.
Yeah, awesome. So I mentioned to you, what are these all about? And you said money.
Yeah. yeah, that's right. Money.
Money. It's about money, and trying to navigate what is happening.
Well, I've been podcasting now for a little over 5 years, 2 of it full time. And when I first started out, you were on the show. I've had lots of community members on the show, and it's evolved. So it went from talking sports and community. I still think I talk a lot of community, but it really, in COVID, took a left turn on me, and we've been talking now to a lot of professionals from across not only Canada, but across North America for the most part. And there's lots of problems going on in the world. I mean, I don't think there's a day go by that we don't see a new one here in Canada. And so I started doing them as a way to allow the audience to come in and experience something live. And so the first one I did had Danielle Smith on at the time, before she was premier in Lloydminster. That was March of 2022. And it was just on, like, COVID. Like, what did we get wrong? Right? Like, what could we do better? And then, from there, I had Quick Dick.
She was still on the radio at that time.
She was removed from the radio.
She was just done.
Yeah,
radio?
she'd been done from probably, I want to say, 6 months at that point.
So it's about 2 years ago then.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then from there, I had Quick Dick McDick. I just thought people needed to laugh a little bit, So we had a comedy show, Quick Dick McDick, and then a guy who does the mashup with me, 222 minutes, 2 very funny men came in Lloyd, and we did that. And then we had the rural-urban divide. Vance Crowe, who was here at the Agrivisions, he was the keynote speaker this year. He was on stage with Quick Dick Dick again, and Stephen Barber, talking about, like, cities and we can all see it in the votes, right? Like, they vote one color, we vote, the rest of it is a sea of blue, and you're kind of like, well, what do we?
Particularly in Alberta.
And And in the States too, you'll see it all across the United States. You'll see a sea of red, and then the cities are. It's a phenomenon that isn't just local to Alberta. Certainly in different parts of the country, it's a little bit different, but you see that there's differences in how the populations think. Lloyd's a little bit interesting because, I mean, we're still very connected to the rural area. Heck, that's where we get our bread and butter from. And then, I had a legacy media one in Edmonton where we talked about, I don't think it should shock anyone, but I think last year it was reported by Blacklock's reporter that it's like 1% of Canadians, less than 1% of Canadians watch the evening news, right? Like,
do you watch it?
No, I don't.
See, I watch it every night.
I read the. I'm more of papers and online news, I guess. Mm-hmm. And my final one was last June. I had Alex Trainer and Tom Luongo, two guys who are going to be here this time, and we talked about Russia, Ukraine, and the idea was to open up dialogue on it, to open up some different thoughts on it, and try and engage the public and just that community once again of getting people in a room together to talk, explore difficult ideas and talk about things. And then I took a big hiatus because I was just like, these are really tough to put on. They're very taxing.
Like hiatus from doing the lives?
From doing the lives,
or
yeah.
Because I know you took a hiatus from the podcast too for a while.
Yeah, when
you're talking about lives.
From lives, yeah.
Okay.
From bringing in shows because they
right.
just, it's a lot of work to put on. I don't think I need to tell anyone that. I think everybody understands that you put on a live show. It isn't just the day of you walk in and away we go, right? It's months upon months of planning, and when you're bringing people in from outside of Lloydminster, it's scheduling, it's flights, it's hotels, it's on and on it goes. And I'd been doing them. I was on a clip of one every 3 months, and that wore me out. And I wasn't sure I was having the effect on even my life that I wanted. And so I just took a break. I just I can stop. Nobody's got a gun to my head. Yeah. It isn't just about the money, right? I wanted to build something, and as I was doing it, I was like, I actually don't know if what I had. My vision of it was coming true. So I took a break, and I follow a bunch of different very successful, whether it's podcasters or entrepreneurs, and I really like the idea of the forum in the sense that it's a full day. You can bring in more than just one topic. You can bring in several around a theme. And hopefully people can come in and take things away from it instead of just having a fun evening of thinking about some different problems. I always look at problems. A local farmer told me, this episode never, I did archive interviews where I interviewed elderly, and they just told me about their life. And one of the things that stuck out about, to me was a local farmer. He said, you don't prepare for the bad days in the bad days, right? You prepare for the bad in the good times. And, the story of Noah's Ark is probably a very good one, right? He didn't build the ark while it was flooding, right? He built the ark when there was no rain, and everybody made fun of him for it. And then the rain came, and he didn't look so dumb. And so I look at the future, and there's lots of problems there. And we can either be paralyzed by it or stick our head in the sand or any other way, or we can talk about it. And will we get everything right? Oh, certainly not. But I don't think discussing what's coming down the pipe in next year or the next 6 or 7 years is a bad thing to do, because if you can see what's coming, hopefully we can help navigate, or I can help navigate even my own life, right? I don't want to be over there because that's coming.
So when I talked to you, you said money. That's the main one, and when you look at your poster, there's some things that really, not a day goes by, I don't think, where somebody doesn't say something to me about the carbon tax.
Sure.
There's not a day. There is not a day. There's not a day that goes by if somebody doesn't say something about how much they're paying in taxes, right? Like, why am I paying 47% of my income for taxes, and then another whatever, I'm over half of what I'm paying by the time I buy something in the store, something like that. You have somebody coming from the Taxpayers Federation. Tell us about that. Yeah, well, Chris Sims, this will be the second time she's been on stage for me, and if you don't follow Chris Sims, she's from the Alberta Taxpayer Federation, she's the Alberta Taxpayer Director, part of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, and she's wonderful. She lived out in Ottawa, was a part of that
beat covering politics out there. Now she's, I believe it's Medicine Hat, and, covers all things money, and specifically taxes. And so, the carbon tax sucks. And the fact it's going up every year till 2030 sucks even more, right? You think it's bad now? If we don't do anything about it, in 6 years, it only gets worse. So take where we're sitting right now, Kurt, and it just gets worse. And that sucks. But she's an optimistic lady, and can just lay it out for you. And, she's covered politics all of her life. These are different things we can do. You can do. And then from, just understanding, well, what does taxes going up mean? What is that going to do to the, to industry, to, food prices, to fuel prices, to our way of living, heating our houses? I think we all need to understand what's coming so that we can get motivated, because if I've learned anything about politics, and I think a lot of us have, it's not a spectator sport. It's, we have to get involved in it. That doesn't mean you have to run in politics. It just means you have to be involved in it. We have local representatives, Colleen Young, Garth Rosewell, or if you go federally, right, we have MPs here. They need to understand where we're at, and we have to be all over them about this stuff, because if we forget about it, it only goes up and it gets worse.
So tell me about the forum part of things as it pertains to Chris, and just give us a little example of, would you have a chance to talk to Chris at this forum? Would she do a presentation? How does it work?
So Chris is going to be my first speaker of the day, because she has this ability. I say things and I take 10 minutes to tell you folks them. Chris Sims can do it in like 30 seconds. So she's going to lay out the problems Albertans and Canadians face over the next year, and she might go a little bit longer. And then she's going to have opportunity to interact with a couple of the speakers later on in the day, because she's a journalist, and I've given her the opportunity to, I don't want to be the only one asking questions. I want to have some of the senior people in the audience the ability to do that. So that's one. She's going to talk right first thing in the morning, lay out kind of the problems Canadians face, Albertans face, and then later on in the day, she's going to have an opportunity to grill some of the keynote speakers, if you would. As for anyone who pays to come, it's the days outlined, so there's enough free time that you'll be able to meet any of the speakers. They're all going to be sitting there for the entire day to interact with the audience, to talk to the audience. That's what the whole day is about. And then once supper hits, after supper, we have a half an hour virtual presentation, and then the rest of the night, as long as the speakers are there, you can interact with them for as long as you want. So I'm creating it off of the idea of lots of the times I've come to different conferences or forums, and there's not that much time to interact with the speakers, or it's really difficult to. There's only going to be a max of 200 and, minus the speakers, 230 people there roughly, and the entire day they're there. So there should be plenty of time to interact.
When we spoke, there wasn't many tickets left. Do you still have tickets left?
Yeah, 16. So it's an intimate setting. We jam as many people into the casino as we humanly possibly can, with it still being comfortable, obviously. And we've figured out over the course of about 6 shows there, 240 is your max. So we're going to be, if this pace keeps up, we'll be a sellout here. And if anyone's interested, would love to see you there and have you come experience one of my events.
How do you get tickets, Shaun?
Showpass.com/Cornerstone. That's probably a lot for anyone to remember. So if you go to any of my social media, it's all sitting there. If you follow the podcast, if you open up Spotify or Apple, and on all the episodes, it's sitting in the show notes. You can just click on the link, and it's super easy.
Tickets include supper?
Lunch
supper?
And water and coffee and everything for the day, so you don't have to leave the facility. You can spend the day. You can come and go to. There will be a wristband put on you, so if you want to show up for the morning, or you look at the morning speakers and you go, I'm not really that interested in some of the speakers we have coming, you can come for lunch and spend the afternoon. It's up to the person, really.
Okay. How much are tickets?
For an individual ticket, it's $200 plus tax, and once again, that comes with everything. And one of the things that I changed about this one specifically is it used to be I filmed everything and then released it on the podcast the entire night. I didn't have a problem because I was selling out, and I wanted people from, we got listeners all across Canada and the States to see what I was doing. This one specifically, we've designed so that it's filmed, but it will be behind a paywall, so it won't be coming out on the podcast, which will be very different than anything I've done in the past.
Okay, the other thing that we talked about was you had said, well, how to, and it wasn't just money. Like I kind of exaggerated that was money, but you said how to really take advantage of what's happening and kind of make some money.
Well, when Kurt's saying money, what he's meaning is financial, right? Like the wife and I talk about. I'm sure she gets annoyed by how much I talk, but
talk about her.
We talk a lot about stress in life can come from a lot of different things. We all lived through it in COVID, depending on the choices you took and everything else. We were just talking about how people are very confrontational these days and how it's hard to talk to some people. But that's just one part of life, right? Like mortgages is one that I talk about a lot because me and my brothers argued about it for 2+ years through COVID. We talked about it a lot because we could just see how low it was and the things that were going on, government spending. And I know this makes most people's eyes roll, but like when Trudeau came in, our debt was $600 million. Now it's $1.2 trillion. He's doubled it in his term here. That's unheard of. It's insane. And that has consequences. And you look at mortgage rates. We argued about this for 2+ years and all locked into something that's kind of unheard of in Canada. It's not like you can't do it. We were locked into 10-year mortgages. And at the time, the banks were like, why would you do that? This is insane. They're at the lowest ever, 1.49, all these different things. Now where we sit, it doesn't seem like such a bad idea. And, when I look at all the financial system, to me, the stress of a lot of the population right now is due to not realizing that was coming. We're not realizing the other problems that are going to come with where we're at government spending wise. Look at gold. It's at its highest it's ever been. Bitcoin, it's at the highest it's ever been. Why is that? We're going to have a guy there to talk about both.
Who's that?
Dave Bradley does the Bitcoin Rodeo out of Calgary. He's coming in to talk about it. He's been a lifetime Bitcoiner, and so he can answer any questions. He can kind of give an overview of what of all the. I'm going to be because if you got Bitcoiners on it, I'm a moron.
Me too.
And so the reason I bring these speakers in isn't because I have all the answers, and I don't think they have all the answers. I just think they have ideas that we need to talk about. So Bitcoin's going to be one, Dave Bradley. Tom Luongo is going to be gold, right? Because, well, gold, let's talk about it.
We all see commercial. I don't know if you have cable TV.
I don't.
But cable TV right now is filled with gold commercials.
I think anywhere you go right now, my major sponsor is a silver gold bull. They're out of Alberta here, and there's a lot to be said about hard assets, about physical money, which is silver and gold, and it's all-time high. And so to me, the reason I come back to the money thing, it isn't all about money. The Cornerstone Forum it's just one of the things I look at in the future over the next year, and I'm like, what am I most concerned about? I'm like, the cost of living. I don't like, is there anything else right now? I'm sure there is, but honestly, the financial world right now is pretty scary, and the things that are going on are very unnerving. The amount of debt we're racking up and the consequences, I don't fully understand all of them. I just understand they're coming, and I want to be prepared for that. I want to have a better understanding of where money should go and understanding, should Bitcoin be an option? Should gold and silver be an option? Or is there, the Great Depression did happen, and I did have members of my family live through it. And there are lots of tough stories from back then, but there's lots of people who did quite fine through that time. It's mentality, it's understanding the risks and some of the things that are coming before they get there. So you're just, batten down the hatches, if you would, for maybe a person looking for more of a visual.
One of the things that caught my ear when we were talking was you said how to navigate, how to make money in today's and what's happening. We had Adam Waterman on the show.
Sure.
And Adam told us that there's people who've learned to make money off carbon tax, right? And there are so many of them that if Pierre comes in and just acts as the carbon tax, just like that, we'll have a recession because you can't do it. You'd put way too much people. You'd break a lot of people that way, which I find fascinating that so many people have found a way to navigate. That's I think what caught my ear.
Yeah,
is navigating today's economic situation?
The visual I always picture, which is funny because we don't live by the ocean, but I just think of going out into rough seas. Like, to go out into the middle of the ocean, which I've never done, but I can imagine, eventually you're going to get hit by a storm. Big, small, it doesn't matter. And you're going to have to navigate it. And I look at this and, I go like, on the horizon, we have a big storm coming. We might even be in the big storm. And we just have to talk about it. And Waterman makes a very good point. I hadn't really thought about it. Chase Barber is a guy from Edison Motors who I've had on multiple times, who changed my mind on EVs. I'm not saying that I'm pro EV, just that I looked at it in one light and he came on and discussed it in a different light. And I was like, that's interesting. And for people who don't know, Edison Motors is the first BC company that has the first ever electric logging truck. Now, it isn't full EV. There's lots of different things. And you go, that's interesting. Like, I'm open to opening up the dialogue, not closing it off. And I just go back to, rough seas. We have to learn how to navigate some of this, or how to go into a safe harbor and just ride out the storm, right? Like, we don't have to go out in the perfect storm like, some did back in the, people remember the movie. I got to interview Judy Reeves. She survived 100-foot waves in the middle of that storm. I don't want to do that. I would rather just navigate to the safe harbor. But that's opening up the conversation and talking about it.
Yeah, that's good points. Okay, who else do you have coming for the forum?
So Curtis Stone is, he used to be the urban farmer. He took city backyards and made a living out of it. Microgreens, building gardens, and and it was in Kelowna. He just made hundreds of thousands of dollars after converting our knuckleheads' backyards into green spaces. And during COVID, he moved off-grid and has been very vocal about getting out of cities. Now, I'm not, I don't know, I'm curious about what he talks about. And so he's coming in because, in the last year, Kurt, we've had brownouts, right? We had the emergency alert of power consumption. We had a terrorist attack in Edmonton City Hall. And, that's in the last 6 months. Both those things, I'm like, I can't believe that happened in Alberta, let alone Canada, but Alberta. And so Curtis Stone's, he's a North America wide speaker. He did a tour talking about urban gardening, and now he lives off grid. I think both of those are very interesting. I think lots of people are very curious about getting off the grid, which you can do in town or on your farm. And there's a company, shout out to Guardian Plumbing and Heating, that offers stuff like that here in Lloydminster.
Yeah, you can end up selling back to.
That's right. And so to me, that's interesting. I don't know if it's for everyone, but I'm interested by it. Chuck Prodnick is a military vet. He served 4 tours overseas. He's been on the podcast lots, and he does a thing, prepping with Prodnick, and it's just, the political climate we're in Canada right now, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, whether it's Israel, Palestine, Hamas, you can just see, the temperature is rising. It isn't going down. Maybe in a year's time when Pierre Poilievre, I assume, gets elected, maybe he can dampen some of that, but right now we're at a boiling point. I just go back to the terrorist attack in Edmonton City Hall. Luckily, nobody was killed. Nobody was hurt, right? The guy's going to go to prison. But, that's wild to me. And I just got a military guy that I really respect on how he talks about things, to come in and talk about, listen, this is what we've seen across the world, because he's been deployed in Quebec when they had the ice storms and they lost power for a week. This is what we've seen. These are some things you should think about. Very basic stuff, but at the same time, things that probably none of us are really thinking about. And it's a credible guy that I respect. So that's the other one. You got Chris Sims. You got Alex Traynor. He used to be a hedge fund manager. He's coming in to talk about inflation, right? He's a big guy on inflation is bad, but what are some things that you can pay attention to that are, markets that are going to go, commodities, there is the copper and different things we think of like that, but he always jokes with me, but it could be simply coffee, right? Like coffee prices, different things. And I find him very fascinating. He served in the Croatian army way back when. Very balanced. He's coming in from Europe. He understands what's going on over there. He looks at markets, and once again, just opening up conversation around, so many times we talk about all the bad things. There are lots of bad things. but there are ways to look at it in a different lens or from a different point of view, and all of a sudden you can see some things that, hadn't thought about that. Tom Luongo is a guy who does the Gold, Goats, and Guns podcast. He's been on tons.
What was that? Gold,
Goats,
and
and Guns. Yeah. He's a guy from Florida. I think I can say you're outspoken, Tom. He's fantastic, right? Like, he looks at world events and how they align and puzzles them together. And he's a pro-gold. And he's going to have no problem saying why he's pro-gold and some different thoughts on why maybe you should own it. Talk about the Fed and interest rates and different things like that. And finally, Dave Bradley's taking the place of Mikkel Thorup. He's the Bitcoin guy. So there's your 6 that are going to be in Lloydminster. And then we have a half-hour virtual interview with Martin Armstrong. He's advised, like, not every world government, but a lot on financial things. He has a computer called Socrates, built in the 70s, and it analyzes all the markets from the world. And he can't give you the specific dates, but he can say, like, listen, these years look like these problems. I know there's a ton of Lloydminster folk who've followed his reports and to great wealth. And he's going to talk about some very specific things to Western Canada. And it's, once again, it's going to be virtual, that one, but that's the night, that's the day. Hopefully that kind of gets across the general theme and idea of it.
Yeah, I think so. So, and then the next morning, you wanted to mention you've got something going on the next morning.
Yeah, sure. The next morning, the Cornerstone Forum is presenting a Sunday service. I didn't know what to call it. It's been something that's been on my heart now for probably almost 2 years. And that is, part of the reason I named it the Cornerstone Forum was, one, I wanted to give people something that they could, when they put something down on their foundation, everything else can stem from it. And certainly when it comes to the Bible, I look for things that are in it, and Cornerstone is in there. And faith, I think, is a huge part of what our population wrestles with. And Sunday morning, I got 3 different guys. One of them's local, Tanner Naday. Actually, I should say 2 of them's local. Joshua Allen's out towards Maidstone. He's the cowboy preacher. And then Cam Milliken's coming in from Edmonton. It's family friendly. Shine Christian Academy is going to be leading some activities in the downstairs for the kids. And upstairs, we're just going to do a miniature SMP Presents, which is they each get 15 minutes, a little keynote speak on the Bible, Cornerstone, Jesus, however they want to twist it together, and then some Q&A after with a little roundtable discussion. It should be an interesting Sunday morning. I'm going to be honest, if I'm nervous at anything, folks, that's the one, because I've never done it. I don't know if it'll be well received. I don't know if I'll, but that's the idea of Sunday morning. Free to the public, family friendly, donations welcome. We're going to donate the money that we raise to some charity here in Lloydminster. I don't plan on the money going anywhere else. It's certainly not going in my pocket.
Anything we're forgetting, Shaun?
No, I don't think so. I just hope that if anyone's feels like they want to come out and experience one of my events, it's a fun day. It's an eclectic group of people that descend on Lloyd. I get asked all the time, Kurt, how many people? It must be all Lloyd. I'm like, oh no, like we got people coming in from Toronto, BC, across Western Canada, a couple flying in from Manitoba. So it's a fun, interesting group that are going to be on Lloyd on the 27th and 28th.
What is the 20th? Like, that's Saturday?
Saturday the 27th, yeah. Yeah, doors open 8:45 in the morning. Speakers start at 9:30. We're going to space it out so you got time for lunch, time for supper, and it should be a good day.
Thanks, Shaun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Kurt. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, and back tomorrow with the NACC, which is coming back this July. And the Lloydminster Connect Club has something coming up. They're having a trivia night. I think it's beer, wine, and trivia, and a night to socialize.
What's the trivia on?
Well, that's what I'm going to find out tomorrow. That's one of my questions, is what kind of trivia? If it's sports...
Kurt's there.
Well, I might be there, but it's the same night as also coming up. Are you playing in the Border City Connects hockey?
I'm not this year. To AJ Rogers, because we've beat him twice now. I'm back-to-back defending champ of it. I'm not going to be there, so I wish them best of luck. But yeah, it's been a fun day to be a part of. 12 hours of hockey. By the end of that, you're you're a little sore, that's for sure.
Yeah, Buck and I are gonna.
You're gonna commentate again.
Commentate again. So that's April 19th. NACC auction, tarp auction, April 19th. In fact, I'm coming on tomorrow, and the Connect Club, April 19th.
That's going to be a busy
That's gonna be
day.
a busy day.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and so I think a lot of people will decide: is it Chuck Wagon trivia? I'm sorry, I'll be at the NACC.
Well, it's funny,
You know what I mean?
as kids at home, we used to play Trivial Pursuit, right? And then they had like 12 different versions of them come out, and the original was like ridiculously difficult for a kid, at least, right? Because it was pretty high up trivia. And then, of course, they realized that and built out like 12 different games of it. So there is a sports Trivial Pursuit and a whole bunch of different ones like that.
Yeah.
So you wonder what their theme is.
Well, and trivia is so difficult to do because everybody's got a phone. It's so easy to just Google.
It's true.
You know what I mean? It's so easy to.
Well, maybe they're going to have a lockbox, make you put all the phones away.
That's one of my questions: is how do you get people to stop? Like, even I had my nephew up the other day, and he loves hockey, right? So he's asking me all questions. He's like, "Name the 5 NHL logos that have this in them," right? And you can't look at your phone. Like, he didn't know it, but I was like. I'm trying to talk. I'm like, I'm just trying to refresh on what the logo. Like, it's hard to remember all of 32 teams. So I was like, what am I missing here? Like, oh yeah, Anaheim as a team. You know. But I can look at the phone. We should also
mention to your listeners too, like Brothers Roundtable comes back here, start of playoffs. That's on the podcast. And if we're short, we've got a short list, which a Montreal Canadian fan might be on the podcast.
I'm on the short list. Like, we can't find anybody else. Kurt, we're calling you.
No, that's not true. That's not true. There's plenty of people. We wanted somebody from Lloyd because we like doing it in person, right? If I did it virtual, that opens up everything. But it's fun to be in studio like this, where you can see the person and then get into it.
I prefer that so much.
And so we got a couple names on there that when one of the brothers for surely misses, we're gonna add in because we like 4. It's a nice little round table, and that starts up once a week every Thursday, I believe, coming up here. And like playoffs are around the corner. Like this is a fun time of year.
I think there's an average. I think the Oilers have 5, but most teams have 4 left.
Oilers gonna hop across Vancouver or no?
No, I don't think.
So they're playing LA first round,
especially if McDavid's out. Well, Vegas could catch LA, right? Vegas
is stumbling
out, but they could catch.
They could catch.
And
but St. Louis could catch Vegas
without McDavid in the lineup tonight, because I don't think he's going to play. But if he does, then I think Edmonton will win. If they don't, I think the game means more to Vegas.
Well, at this point, they need 2 wins to lock in.
I go with the team that needs it more. Like that's what I go with when it comes to hockey. The team that needs it more should win. That's why Philadelphia losing 9-3 to Montreal
doesn't make
blows
any sense.
my mind.
Yeah, well, that just
Montreal's
means
got nothing to play for.
That just means they're done.
Yeah, they're done. Like
right?
that.
That's a statement loss.
Detroit, Washington last night. Detroit loses at home. It's like, how do you not want this?
But the thing is, Washington wants it too. When you get 2 teams that need it,
but you're at home.
I understand, but tomorrow you got Pittsburgh versus Detroit, and I look at that and I go, well, that's a playoff game, right? One bad bounce goes in the net, and you lose a game, and that's what it is. Like, that's going to be good watching. Yeah. Like, that's what's fun about this time of year is you get into it and you're like, this is fun watching because you could, if the weather holds up like this, could throw the TV out on the deck. Yeah. Heck, maybe drive down to the protest still going on, throw a TV out there. We'll have a big live viewing party from the road, and watch some of these games because like the Pittsburgh Penguins right now are a ton of fun to watch. And they traded Gensel away at the end. Yeah. So now, like, they're gutted. They feel like they're not going to be there. But you look at their team, they still got, I know Malkin ain't no spring chick. Crosby's, like, doing whatever he can.
He's so slow now, Malkin.
You got Carlson and Letang on the back end. Their goalie plays like that. They could will a way in.
So right now, who would it be? Like, right now, it would be the Oilers and the Kings. But I really think it's going to be the Oilers in Vegas in the first round.
You think Oilers, Vegas?
I think Vegas is going to pass.
I think it's going to be Oilers Kings for the 3rd year in a row.
Oh, I hope not. But there is nothing. There is nothing like the first round of the NHL playoffs. Like even the second round can't take.
No, but that's because every night there's a game on. There's 4 games on. Yep. It never stops.
2 games each night. One late, one early.
And the NHL is so much different than any other league under the sun where the 16th place team or the 8th seed on each side, if you would, has a chance to win the cup. Like it's pretty wild. Like we'll all write off, right now it's Washington. We'd all say, Washington ain't gonna win anything. But if all of a sudden they kind of got hot and OV just started banging it in, and a hot goalie, how many times have we seen a hot goalie steal a series?
Florida last year.
Look at Florida now. Holy mackerel.
And I love, there's so many Toronto Maple Leaf fans in our family that I love when the Leafs lose.
Look at who they're going to have to play first round.
Yeah, Florida.
Boston or Florida?
Well, it's likely going to be Florida.
Like, we were joking if Vegas finishes
they
eighth,
would be lucky to play Boston, actually. I think I'd rather play Boston in the first round.
I agree with you.
But, if you look at...
But either way, it's not easy. And Boston has this psychological thing against the Leafs.
I like what Tree Living has done there. I'm a big Joel Edmondson fan because he played for Montreal.
I wish the Oilers would have got him.
They went to the final. I think he's underrated.
But
look at the way he hammered McDavid in the corner.
We were talking about if Vegas gets last in the West, they would play right now Dallas, and then you have Colorado, Winnipeg. Ugh, wouldn't want to go and come out of that division.
I would love
On
that.
the flip side, you have Boston playing probably Tampa Bay. And then you have Florida, Toronto. I wouldn't want to come out of that. That division is just as messed.
Yeah.
All the best teams in the... Well, there's some good teams.
Kachuk versus Domi might be pretty interesting, too. They're both...
Yeah, agitators.
Kachuk's a better hockey player, but they're both agitators, both...
Either way, that's why the first round of the playoffs is
That's
the best.
why it's the best.
Yeah.
We could go on forever.
I know. Everybody tuned off right now.
Anyway, tomorrow, NACC and the Connect Club.
Thanks for having me on, Kurt.